These are the types of days where you can't wait to come back to the ballpark. And another good crowd gathering at Turner Field as we start a 4-game series with the Colorado Rockies. Boy, oh boy, what a night last night for the Atlanta Braves. Chipper Jones, the old gray mare, circled the corral one last time in game-winning fashion. A dramatic finish to the Braves series with the Phillies.
I was sitting over there on the bench, and I really didn't think I'd get another opportunity, but, you know, with 2 or 3 hitters left, it started to kind of come around, and I knew if we could throw some good ABs up, I might get another shot. I don't trust it to anybody else. I want that opportunity in that spot to come up in that situation against one of the best closers in the game, and I got the head out on one today.
Swing, high fly ball, belted right center, and the Braves have won it!
I've loved playing in front of these fans. Thank you to all these fans for sticking around and believing in us. For those that left, shame on you. You missed a great one.
And Joe Simpson, Chipper certainly is right about that. And today's a new day with Colorado in town.
Chipper said he was euphoric all the way to the clubhouse last night, and hopefully some of that euphoria will carry over because Colorado comes to town, and while they've got a losing record, 22 games under 500, they're playing good ball.
And we will talk about the Colorado Rockies and the Braves starter Chris Medlin when we return from break. The euphoria continues at Turner Field. A new series, a new day. We try to turn the page and stay in the win column right after this. Rockies to town for game 1 of our 4-game series, and all season long Braves baseball on Sports South is being presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price every day. Joe and Chip back at the ballpark. Indeed, Colorado's in town. Joe, a club the Braves swept out at Coors Field
But Jim Tracy's club, a very different ball club right now.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, and they've got a lot of young players on their roster right now, and they're playing good baseball and coming off a good homestand. But they come to town with a 55-77 record, last in the West. But they've got some guys that are playing real well right now and have some big hitting streaks working. Dexter Fowler among them, now 6th in the league in hitting. His last 44 games, the kid from Milton High School here in metropolitan Atlanta, outstanding work. And since August 1st, an 18-13 record, and their batting average, .297, the best as a team in the major league. So offensively, they are getting it done, and that's why they are winning some ball games lately.
But who better to cool them off than the silencer, Chris Medlin?
Silencer's a good call for Chris, the way he's been going. He's coming off a start in San Diego where he probably could have gone another inning and gotten a complete game shutout. He already had one of those under his belt. But he shut out the Padres over 8 innings, and in his 6 starts, you see a .066 ERA. He is painting all the corners. He's using his fastball, changeup, and curveball at will. He's picking off runners left and right, more like first and first. But he's doing everything that he needs to do to win, to help his team win, as the Braves have won 17 straight Chris Medlin starts. Hopefully they'll make it 18 today.
It is a new day, but certainly the Braves hoping to ride the emotional momentum of last night's 9th inning heroics with Colorado in town for Game 1 of this series. Let's keep the fun going at Turner Field. A nice crowd gathering on Labor Day Monday in Atlanta. We'll have our first pitch right after this. One of our series. Time to join the third member of our broadcast team, Tom Hart, with the story on Dan Uggla's place or misplace in the Braves lineup. Tom?
All right, thanks, Chip. It seems to be, for the time being and going forward in the month of September, he will be a bench player. Martin Prado will be the Braves starting second baseman, and Uggla will back him up. This has been a tough decision for Freddie Gonzalez, who has a long relationship with Uggla.
I think he took it the right way, and it's obviously it's uncomfortable, and it's hard, especially with the relationship I have with him. You know, 6 years with him. You know, and you want your players to be upset that they're not in there. I think Danny will be okay, and again, I think Danny, somewhere down the road, this next 29, I don't even know how many games left, 29, 30 games, 31 games, 28 games, I don't know. He's going to come up with a big at bat, big double, big home run, big something to get us a big W.
And as far as Uggla is concerned, he's riding a 5-game hit streak with a couple of home runs and had a big one on Friday, but those are his raw numbers. Freddie said that's too small a sample size. They're going by the larger sample size basically since the All-Star break. Uggla added he's not blind to any of it, but he also thinks that he's part of the team that got us to where we are now, and numbers don't mean anything in September.
Okay, Tom, thank you very much. Joe, your thoughts on A, Uggla's reaction, and B, how Freddie Gonzalez dealt with Dan Uggla?
Well, I think Freddie's doing everything he can to win games. He's trying to put what would amount to the hottest players right now on the field, and you can't fault him for that. And while Dan has had some good games in the last couple of weeks that have included some home runs, I think at this stage of the season, whether you've had a really good season and you've gotten cold, or you've had a really bad season and you're kind of warming up, you got to go with your hot hand. Who's playing the best right now that gives you the chance to win? And that's what makes it difficult for a manager when he's got to make decisions about people that he cares a lot about, like he does for Dan Uggla. So from Dan's standpoint, it's a hard pill to swallow because you want to be in there and you know he wants to compete, but it's a tough situation, and he's going to get in there, and you just hope he's ready to play the next time he gets an opportunity.
And I was listening to Dan during his pregame press scrum, and he said, look, I'm going to be a good teammate. So he's obviously disappointed, but he's not going to pout and sulk about it, and that would be the worst possible thing that could happen, I would think. So Chris Medlin goes to the mound for Atlanta. He's 6-1 in facing this red-hot Rockies lineup. As Joe mentioned, a lot of men in this starting nine for Jim Tracy have very impressive hitting streaks working. Dexter Fowler leads off. Josh Rutledge has filled in beautifully for Troy Tulowitzki. He's the shortstop, former University of Alabama star. You know about Carlos Gonzalez. Willen Rosario might be the rookie of the year that no one's talking about. He's their catcher. Tyler Colvin, DJ LeMahieu, former Cubs, and Tyler Chatwood. We saw him with the Angels a couple of years ago. He pitches and bats ninth.
And they've got to deal with Chris Medlin, 26 years old, 5'10", 190 out of Norwalk, California. His 6 starts this year, there are the numbers. 5-0 and 0.66 ERA, has not allowed a run in his last 28 1/3 innings. That streak is intact. And he does face a tough lineup. His 4 keys to pitching success. Number 1, pounding. He has been pounding the strike zone with all 3 of his pitches, both sides of the plate. That's been his hallmark so far. And if he's got his good command again today, no reason to think it won't be more of the same. But it is a hot offense. No fewer than 5 of the 8 position players today in the lineup have hitting streaks of more than 4 games and are swinging the bats real well for these Colorado Rockies. He's got to contend with that today, too.
So Dexter Fowler's ready to go, the pride of Milton High School here in Atlanta. And Fowler in the top 10 in the National League in batting average, hitting .310 for the Rockies this year. And we're underway at Turner Field. Dexter Fowler is the man that's hit the Georgia Lottery jackpot.
6th in the league in hitting, 4th in on-base percentage, and really has gotten hot the last half of the season.
Hits one in the air toward left. That's where Jose Costanza is playing this afternoon. He's got it. And Dexter Fowler's out number 1. Very speedy Atlanta outfield with Costanza, Bourne, and Hayward left to right. Juan Francisco gets the start for Chipper at third base. Martin Prado, as we told you, will be playing second. And David Ross behind the plate again for Atlanta. Still some trouble for Brian McCann and his shoulder, Joe.
Yeah, he should be able to get back in there tomorrow night. Wednesday at the latest.
Josh Rutledge gets a big cheer. A lot of his fans are here, I would think. Played college ball at Alabama. And this kid's come out of nowhere to hit .344 for the Rockies. And that's under the glove of Francisco and into left field.
Rutledge, a real plus runner, too. Really fast, but he's been nursing a quad injury that slowed him down a little bit. I don't know if we'll see the full extent of his speed. But that's just another part of his game that everybody in the Rockies organization really likes. He'll probably move over and play second as soon as Troy Tulowitzki is ready to come back.
It's Jim Tracy, the Colorado skipper. His club's won 14 of their last 20 games. Many of those are or were played at Coors Field. Now a tough stretch. 14 of their next 17 on the road, which really impacts their offense certainly, and their pitching staff too. They are really two teams in one. Much better offense at home, much more effective ERAs on the road. And ball one to Carlos Gonzalez.
They're last in baseball, both leagues, in pitching. They're last in the National League in defense. They've made 102 errors compared to the Braves' 66. But second in the National League in runs scored, fourth in homers, first in slugging, second in on base percentage.
And that, I guess, is the most difficult thing that the Rockies are trying to figure out is what combination works for the 81 games they play at Coors Field and the 81 games they play away from Coors Field. Their earned run average at home a full run and a half higher than it is on the road. Their batting average 57 points higher at home than it is on the road. So how do you build a team at altitude at Coors Field? Deep short. Prado will turn it. And Gonzalez safe at first.
Giannis was really playing Gonzalez up the middle and had to go several steps to his right before planning and pretty much throwing as he was sliding to his right. And you can see how far up the middle Paul is playing. So several steps to get there, and a tough turn for Martin gave Gonzalez time to get down the line. Made it close though.
And beware Willen Rosario, the Colorado catcher. This young man's having a whale of a season, and I'm guessing most fans east of the Rockies know very little about him. He's hit 23 homers and has knocked in 58 men. And he brings a 6-game hit streak into today's play.
Leads National League catchers in that category. In fact, he's tied for the most homers hit by a rookie catcher in several years.
And he drives this one deep toward right center. Hayward on the run, still going at the track. He hauls it in. What a catch. Hayward saved an extra base hit and a first inning Colorado run with a marvelous running catch in right center field. The euphoria continues in Atlanta in the first inning. after Jason Hayward's great first inning catch.
And he had to make an adjustment. He kind of overran it a little bit, and then right over the shoulder makes a brilliant catch to end the inning. Good way to start the ball game defensively.
So the Braves go to work against Colorado. And their starter, Tyler Chatwood, whom we saw pitching for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Yeah, just 22 years old, 6 feet, 185. Good friends with Tommy Hansen out of Redlands, California. Much better numbers for him in the rotation after they got him from the Angels. November of last year. Throws hard. He's got a good fastball, and he gets some good movement on it. Hard sinker, and he gets a lot of ground balls. If he's got base runners on today, he'll need those ground balls. More ground ball double plays than anybody on their staff over the last 2 years. He's got a wide margin in that category.
The Rockies traded Chris Iannetta to the Angels to get Chatwood. And Michael Bourne leads off against him and is ahead in the count. And even more so, 3-1 now. At the belt over the inside corner. And Michael Bourne has a leadoff walk. Here's the rest of the Braves lineup for game 1 of the series. Bourne leads off. Jose Costanza, another speedster, hits second. Then it's Hayward, Freeman, Prado. Day off for Chipper. Brian McCann had an injection in his shoulder the other day, so still working back from that. David Ross catches, Paul Janisch at short, and Chris Medlin hits ninth. And now time called as Rosario wants to talk it over with Chatwood.
Might have gotten crossed up a little bit there. I don't know why, with no runner at second. But also over the next 4 days, as we watch Castillo catch, or excuse me, Rosario catch, you'll notice that he's more known for his offense than his defense. It's still a work in progress behind the plate, but he's got a good arm so long as he keeps the ball in front of him.
Costanza bunts that one foul, and the count's now even 1-1.
A very unique pitching philosophy right now going for the Rockies, in that they've recently started a buddy system where the starting pitchers throw no more than 75 pitches, and then they're coupled with another pitcher who works on the same day they do to come in relief. And it's an interesting strategy that makes some sense. Especially in Coors Field. Their philosophy goes to the fact that batting averages tend to go up with every at bat a hitter sees a pitcher. From the first time through the order to second to third, it typically goes up. So their feeling is that after the second time through the order, it's time to get the guy out of there before any damage is inflicted. And that especially applies at Coors Field. So it's been working for them so far. It's different. It's a little revolutionary in a way, but it's working for them, and they're sticking with it through the end of the season.
Bourne a good lead at first. 2-1 the count to Costanza, and a bunt, and it's a good one. Rosario fires to first in time and gets Costanza for the first out. But Bourne to second for Jason Hayward. It's a sacrifice. An RBI chance for Jason.
Well, it took Rosario's great arm to get Costanza there. That was a good bunt.
And part of the other reason for the Rockies' philosophy is they've had very little luck drafting pitchers who've stuck with them. They're going to have very big difficulty signing free agents to pitch there. So they've had to trade for pitching and adopt this, as you said, unorthodox or unconventional pitching strategy to see if it works, because clearly what has been traditionally done there hasn't worked for the Colorado club for the long haul.
They've been through about 3 different philosophies, maybe 4.
Bouncing ball back to the mound. Chatwood will make the throw to third, and Michael Bourne will move up 90 feet with 2 outs. And here's Freddie Freeman. You know what kind of good work he's done this year with 2 outs. But here's what he's done against the Rockies.
Not too bad. 8 homers, 18 RBIs in 11 games. Pretty amazing. Half of those homers at Coors Field, half here at Turner Field. On the SunTrust solid performance. His career homers. Keep in mind all those games within the division that he sees teams, but he's hit 8 in 11 games against Colorado.
One ball, 1 strike.
He has the ability with a 4-seamer, if he wants to come up and in, he can and get away with it, throwing 94, 95. When he's down in the zone and has that hard sinking movement on it, he's mighty tough. Beat the Dodgers his last time out, went 5 innings, gave up 2 runs. Fastball, curve, slider, and an occasional changeup.
There's Freddie's great work with 2 outs. It's his situation here with Bourne at third and a 2-2 pitch.
Chatwood was the 2010 Angels minor league pitcher of the year, and then might have gotten rushed a little bit to the big leagues last year. At the age of 21, he went 6-11 with the Angels, but one of those wins was against the Braves in interleague play, as Chip told you.
His record could have been a whole lot better. He was the guy for whom the Angels simply didn't score when he was in the game. And that one gets past the catcher. Bourne streaking home. Close play and not in time. 1-0. There's that catcher's defense or lack thereof. And Medlin and the Braves score in the first.
I'm not sure who could have caught this one. With all due respect to Willen Rosario, that was out of his reach. And fortunately for Michael Bourne, it hit the net and not the back wall, which might have caused to carry him quickly back to the catcher. It is a wild pitch.
So Braves manufacture a first inning run, and Freddie Freeman's aboard with the second walk of the inning. To finish the point on Chatwood, the Angels last year were shut out in 6 games that Chatwood pitched, and they scored no runs in 8 of his 11 losses while he was still in the game.
Goodness. Well, they liked him a lot. He was a 2nd-round pick for the Angels in 08 and moved up the ladder quickly. And the Rockies are happy to have him.
Strike 1 to Martin Prado, one of the Braves' 9th inning hitting heroes last night. And that one off the pitcher's leg. Down the first base line goes Prado, and the ball dropped by Jordan Pacheco at first. Now Freeman's going to try to take third. That gets away from Nelson. Freeman will score. Prado's on his way to second. It's 2-0. That ball really tattooed Chatwood.
Smoked him, and he's pointing to an area right above his foot, maybe on the shin or ankle, as he gets some attention. May have had an effect on his toss, but he had to get it over Martine's head to the first baseman, and as a result threw wildly. But their defense rears its ugly head again. Might be 2 errors, probably 2 errors on the play. Keeps up the baseball now. He's got to get it over Martine's head, but threw the ball in such a way, pulled Pacheco right into the path of the runner. Freddie hesitated around second, and in doing so gave Pacheco a chance to throw him out at third, but then he threw wildly. So aggressive base running by Atlanta, taking a chance or two, produces a run.
So we await the official scoring. Chatwood appears to be able to continue. He now trails 2-0 as Freddie Freeman scores from first on that wild play. Martin Prado ends up at second.
Should be 2 errors and a wild pitch in the inning. We're just getting started.
So Juan Francisco will bat, 2 in, 2 outs. Strike one. So it is ruled a double error, but both errors are given to the first baseman, Jordan Pacheco.
I think that's an error in that the first baseman had no place to go to glove that ball. He's trying to avoid the runner and reach across into foul territory. I thought it was a poor throw on the pitcher, but so be it.
Braves have 2 runs on no hits in the first inning.
This was just a bad throw. In a way, you can get the error to the first baseman there, but you can on the throw to third. Freddie Freeman, after making the circuit of the bases. Yeah, you're fast, Freddie. Put so much pressure on the defense, nobody could handle it.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, at this rate, Tyler Chatwood's going to use up his 75 pitch allotment before the 3rd inning's over. And that, I guess, is the inherent risk of this strategy. If your starter gets knocked out early, you can whip through your bullpen pretty quickly, too.
Well, and I'll bet that spot on his leg or ankle is going to be barking pretty quick, too.
That one's back to the mound, and that retires the side. The Braves take advantage of Colorado's porous defense. They cash in 2 walks, a wild pitch, and 2 errors, and lead 2-0 after 1. And Braves fans, for a look at the week ahead, log on to FoxSportsSouth.com. Our Braves writer Andy Johnston's breaking down the full week of matchups with a look at starting pitchers and who's hot and who's not. It's the Braves week ahead, and it's on FoxSportsSouth.com.
We're talking about that leg or ankle barking. How about a look at this? Right above the shoe on the leg of Tyler Chatwood.
Ow. He and Chipper Jones will have something to talk about, wouldn't you say? Remember Chipper down in Tampa? That shot off the bat of B.J. Upton. So Medlin has an early lead. Jordan Pacheco, the first baseman. And he takes a strike. This guy's an interesting player, Joe. He's a real super utility guy for Colorado. To a good start at the plate. He's got an 11-game hitting streak working. Playing first base today, but most of the time in the minor leagues, he was a catcher.
Makes him even more valuable when you can catch and play first in the outfield at the University of New Mexico. And the description I was given on a scouting report on him is that he is a baseball player. Loves to play, can play anywhere, knows how to play the game. Another one of those young players for the Rockies that nobody knows about yet.
And Medlin strikes him out to start the second inning. Again, Chris now with a 29 2/3 inning scoreless streak working.
And Chris Conroy is the umpire behind the plate. This is the same quartet of umpires that we had for the series with the Phillies. Given the quick turnaround, they weren't going to be able to get out of town and get to a new location. So you see Chris Conroy behind the plate for the 4th out of 4 umpires in this rotation. And he's calling strikes today, that's for sure.
Tyler Colvin is the Rockies right fielder. He's had a fine season. 17 homers, 63 RBIs, and just 330 at bats. Rockies got him and DJ LeMahieu in a deal with the Cubs.
Got a career high in RBIs with 63. Inning and a third now today for Chris Medlin. That moves him to second on the Braves scoreless streak list. One out better than John Smoltz's run in 1992, but that's a good threesome for Chris to be mixed in there with those guys, Maddox, Smoltz, and Niekro. I'm sure he likes that.
He strikes out Tyler Colvin. 2 up, 2 down. And fans, you can find great Chipper Jones items at the Braves Clubhouse store at CNN Center, like Tervis tumblers, Chipper souvenir programs, and the exclusive red Chipper retirement tee. Visit the Braves Clubhouse store at CNN Center or call 404-523-5854. Chris Nelson's a local kid.
If you couldn't tell, it's his birthday. He's from Decatur, and his family singing happy birthday to him.
Well, it's not a happy birthday so far. He's behind 0-2 to Medlin. Chris Medlin just struck out the side. Wow. He continues to be exceedingly sharp. He leads 2-0. Braves back up in the last of the second.
One of them out of the lineup for the second straight day. Here's Freddie Gonzalez explaining why.
He took a shot Saturday after the game on his shoulder, a cortisone shot. So he wasn't available yesterday, and probably not today. Hopefully tomorrow, let that medicine take effect, and we'll check with him tomorrow.
And guys, David Ross is playing hurt with a sore side. He's told Freddie that he can fight through it and still be effective, but with an extra catcher on the roster and plenty of pinch hitters, they will go to the bench if they need to in a tight situation late.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Yeah, as we suspected with David Ross, that area, that oblique area, has been nagging him.
We'll keep an eye on David Ross. We'll keep an eye on Mr. Chatwood, who was hit with that bouncing ball in his first inning of work. He trails 2-0, hasn't given up a hit.
Let's go back and talk about the philosophy, or the philosophies, the Rockies have employed over the years to try to deal with Coors Field for their pitchers, and it's gone from one extreme to the other, really. Remember when they signed Brett Saberhagen and Billy Swift, and were kind of going with more sinker slider guys to try to get more ground balls, that for whatever reason they couldn't get movement on the baseballs then. That was before the days of the humidor. So they went to power pitchers and brought in some guys. That certainly didn't work because the ball jumped out of the ballpark. But now that they've gone back to the humidor, or gone to the humidor, they're hoping to emphasize ground balls.
There's one from Chatwood. Nelson at third. High throw, but Pacheco holds the bag. 1 out.
And Chatwood fits right in with that philosophy, given all the ground ball double plays that he's able to induce, and how he has good late movement on his pitches and gets some ground balls. So when you look at these numbers, there's obviously a place for them to go, and that's up. That's the only place. But they're really trying to emphasize pitching down in the zone, the bottom of the strike zone. And as one member of their traveling party said, he's never seen a ground ball yet go out of the ballpark.
And that's a great philosophy to have. But to your point, the only way that philosophy is going to work if the guys behind the starting pitcher catch the ball.
Yeah.
And as you said, over 100 errors for Colorado so far this season. That will be helped immeasurably when Troy Tulowitzki comes back from injury. He's in the minor leagues working his way back. There was some concern up in our booth that, hey, he might be back for this series against Atlanta. I don't know if that's the case, but he's clearly not in the lineup today for the Rockies. Yanis behind at the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The other question is, how different would the Rockies' history have been had Ubaldo Jimenez worked out for them? Remember, he pitched the no-hit game against Atlanta. He really fizzled last year. They dealt him to the Indians. At short, nice pickup, Rutledge, and he makes the play. Another ground ball out. All of them on the ground so far for Chatwood. 2 down in the second inning. But while Jimenez didn't work out, they acquired Alex White and Drew Pomeranz from Cleveland. Those 2 youngsters are a big part of Colorado's move forward in their rotation.
We'll see each of them in the next 2 days. Pomeranz tomorrow, White on Wednesday.
One and 1 to Chris Medlin. And that will retire the side. First strikeout for Tyler Chatwood, but he trails 2-0 as we move to our third inning. Chris Medlin will face the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for the Rockies, as that beautiful young lady is our McDonald's fan of the game.
All dolled up for the ball game. That's obvious. Looking sharp. And hello to you, young man.
Another warm, humid day in Atlanta. Game time temperature 84 degrees. Humidity almost as high. It's a weather forecast today that suggested 60 to 70% chance of showers. Skies are cloudy, but bright sunshine bathing the field of play here at Turner Field.
A lot of rain right over on the Alabama-Georgia border. Hopefully it stays there for a little while.
So DJ LeMahieu, the former Cub, leads off for the Rockies. He's starting at second base. Hitting .283 for the year.
23 pitches so far for Chris Medlin. 23 pitches, 20 strikes. In that 8-inning victory over the Padres, 5-hit shutout over 8 innings, exactly 100 pitches. And that changeup is on target.
Popped up foul into the seats. And LeMahieu remains behind in the count.
How tall is he? Looks tall.
6'4", 205.
Yeah, and he kind of takes a stance like Troy Tulowitzki. Goes straight up.
Francisco gloves, throws on the run, close play, and just in time. LeMahieu thought he beat it out. No argument by Glenn Allen Hill. And Medlin gets the leadoff man to start the third inning.
He was moving so hard to his left, took him a couple of extra steps to get in a position to be able to throw, but made a good throw to Freddie. Very close call. Looked like Mark Carlson got it right.
So Chatwood bats with the bases clear. played high school ball at Redlands East Valley High School, same hometown as Tommy Hansen. And Medlin spears that. Former shortstop, always known for his defensive prowess, takes care of his opposing pitcher. 2 outs. And Dexter Fowler is the Colorado hitter. The Braves are excited to bring OAR to Turner Field for a free post-game concert after the Saturday, September 15th game against the Nationals. Visit Braves.com/tickets or call 800-745-3000. What a remarkable improvement for Dexter Fowler this year. Blazing speed. He can split gaps. Ideally suited to hit line drives in Coors Field. Major League .262 hitter. He came in today hitting .310.
$11 triples. That's one more than Michael Bourne. 14 doubles. Not as many stolen bases as you might expect so far this year. Only 12. But a huge improvement in home runs. And a lot of that they're crediting to some offseason work he spent this past winter working out with Tulowitzki and Jason Giambi. He's a little stronger this year.
11 more pitches for Medlin in the third. He's got 4 strikeouts and a 2-0 lead. The order's coming up for Freddie Gonzalez. And if you can't get enough college football, look to Bates and Bowden on Thursdays. James Bates and Tommy Bowden form a player-coach duo, bringing you their take on football in the SEC, ACC, Conference USA, and more. Don't miss the new college football show Thursday at 7 on Fox Sports South. Michael Bourne walked and scored on a wild pitch in the opening inning.
It's not uncommon to score a run without benefit of a hit. It is very uncommon to score 2 runs without benefit of a hit.
A double error on Jordan Pacheco at first. Led to the second Atlanta run. 2 balls and a strike. Rockies had a cross-country flight yesterday. played a wild 11-10 game with San Diego at home. And they got to Atlanta right around 11-15. They had to dodge some thunderstorms. Certainly a quick turnaround for both these ball clubs.
But a lot of wild high pitches to the arm side for Tyler Chatwood, meaning the right-handed batter's box.
And another walk for Michael Bourne. And here's how the Braves scored in that crazy bottom of the first.
Started just like that one. This one just started. Michael got around to third base after leading off with a walk, scored on the wild pitch, and then a hard shot off the pitcher's leg. Pitcher throws it away. First baseman was charged with the error for some reason, but then he threw that one away on the same play. So as it turned out, Pacheco got 2 errors, and the Braves had 2 runs.
Costanza was bunting in the first. Let's see if he is again. Just in case, they buzzed the tower. 1 ball, no strikes. Another one of those high outside pitches to a left-handed batter, and now time called. The Rockies will talk it over with Bourne at first and a 2-0 count.
Chan looked it up to find games in which there was a no-hitter thrown, but runs scored. And there was actually a no-hitter thrown by the White Sox in 1990, where they didn't give up any, where they didn't get any hits, but they scored 4 runs. And the next highest total is 2 runs, and that was done in 1992, 1967 by Cleveland and Detroit, with 4 the most runs scored in a no-hitter by the team that got no hit.
Saw Bo McLaughlin, who's the acting pitching coach for the Rockies now. Bob Apodaca was the pitching coach here in Colorado. He resigned. And Braves fans might remember Bo McLaughlin pitched here for Atlanta back in 1979. Three balls and a strike.
He's having a little better time finding the strike zone when he throws that 2-seamer that kind of starts inside to left-handers to go to the glove side of the plate.
And another walk. Chatwood had walked only 18 men in 39+ innings. He's walked 4 men in his first 2+ innings today. That pitch count rapidly rising. 2 on, nobody out for Jason Hayward. .75 is the starter's allotment for Colorado. He's up to 52.
Here are the home road splits for Chatwood, and his road games a better ERA away from Coors Field. But here's something that's interesting. Counting today, he's issued 12 walks in 16+ innings of work on the road, compared with a lot better control at Coors Field.
Well, that again, it sounds like an odd thing, but that was something that I know Mike Hampton talked about. The lessons you learn at Coors Field don't necessarily translate away from altitude. The ball behaves differently, breaks differently. I'm sure that's very, very tough for a 22-year-old kid to try to figure out at this level. Fly ball deep left center field. Fowler on the warning track makes the catch. Michael Bourne will tag at second and move to third. Runners at the corners with one out.
Yeah, that ball carried.
At Coors, that's a home run.
So was Rosario's in the first inning for Colorado. Breaking ball and pretty good pitch. And Jason on it.
So Atlanta's still looking for its first hit, but leads 2-0. Freddie Freeman's earned one of the 4 walks issued by Chatwood. He scored the second Braves run.
Remember that at bat we talked about last night with Freddie? Runners at second and third, 1 out. Infield back. Just want to put the ball in play. This time of year, you got to get those extra runs. In that case, it would have been the first run of the night. Well, here's another one. Ground ball might be a double play, so you can't just count on just hitting the ball and putting it into play on the ground, but a fly ball gets you a run. So something other than a strikeout, good chance of getting a third run.
One ball, 1 strike.
Michael Bourne's already scored on 1 wild pitch. And Chris Nelson really not anywhere close to the bag at third. Gives Michael a chance to get a nice walking lead in case the ball does get by Rosario.
Well, last night the Braves were 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position until the 9th inning. And in that fateful ninth, the Braves were 2 for 3 with runners in scoring position. Prado and Chipper the big 9th inning hits.
Trying real hard not to make a mistake for that 2-seamer away, but instead of starting it at the middle of the plate and letting it move off, he's throwing it at the outside corner, and it is nowhere near.
He's walked, the bases loaded. I imagine that's probably a big strategy used against Colorado. You know that their pitcher's going to only have 75 pitches. If you can wait him out, you can knock him out very early in the game. And Chatwood's been very wild. 5 walks.
Yeah, they're trying to do more pitching to contact, only ground ball contact, but he's not throwing it anywhere close enough to the plate for that.
There's a strike. In the air to center. shallow center. Fowler with the catch. Bourne's tagging. He's coming home. Here's the throw to the plate. Close, late. 3-0.
Only Michael. No one else. His speed pays dividends here. That was not a deep fly ball by any means. Fowler with a good arm, but a slight opening there at the plate where Michael goes in head first. You don't teach sliding head first at home plate, but in this case it worked because he's able to avoid the tag, goes around it a little bit, but gets that left hand on the plate just in time. Nobody else is able to tag and score on that.
So the Braves now 3 runs without benefit of a hit. Costanza tagged from second. He stands at third. Colorado will appeal to see if Bourne left too early. He did not.
And that's good base running by Costanza, because if they want to cut the ball or want to deal with him and try to throw to third to get him, then that allows the run to score no matter what happens at third base, provided the run scores first.
64 RBIs for Prado now. And Juan Francisco's the batter. That's rolled foul at first. Strike one.
Just kind of get a feeling, though, as much as he's struggled with his command today, that when the Braves do get that first hit, it's going to be a big one because he's got to throw one down the middle.
Flared into shallow left. That'll drop in front of Gonzalez. There's the first hit and the 4th run.
There's a big one.
30th RBI for Francisco.
Gives him 25 RBIs in this, his 37th start. Big enough, strong enough to fight that one off. 2 walks, come home to roost.
Well, as Bob Murphy, the legendary voice of the Mets, would have said, well, there goes the no-hitter. And here's David Ross. Despite the sore side, Joe, he's turning it loose at the plate.
Yeah, I just hope he doesn't go overboard. Kind of makes me wince every time he takes a big cut like that. Last night, kids were running the bases. Some of the players' kids were at the ballpark, including David Ross's, and he came out with his kids to run the bases with that wrap on his side after the game.
I've got a belt just like that.
I've noticed.
But I don't have any obliques.
Well, no, it's funny to me because it pushes it all up on you.
Yes, it does. It's making all my bell-bottom shirts obsolete. 2 balls and a strike. And as we presume, the Rockies bullpen's working. Chatwood's at 67, 68 pitches.
I was just going to ask you, that 75 pitch limit, is that mandatory? No matter what?
Yeah. Take your punishment and turn it over to the next guy. 2-2.
See, on that swing, David he has to cut it short. He can't get extended for fear of his right hand staying on the bat and really overdoing it on the right side. So he's got to make it a real short, quick follow through.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Braves, as you know, brought up J.C. Boscan from AAA Gwinnett. He's the third catcher on the roster. Atlanta also brought back Randall Delgado today. And he's available out of the bullpen. David didn't swing. Full count.
But another check swing. That's 2 in a row that you know really biting on that side.
30th pitch of the inning. Runners go. Ross drives one toward Fowler. And look at that ball hook. Wow! 2 runs are going to score on a wild shot off the bat of David Ross. That thing started in right center field and took a wicked left turn.
I've never seen anything like that, ever. Ever.
Neither is Fowler.
I'm going to say it knuckled the way it moved. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but Dexter started, look at this, and he has to change and go the other way because the ball moved. I bet it moved 75, 100 feet from where it was headed. That was unbelievable. See if you can track the baseball here as Dexter is going to his left, only to have the ball change directions midway.
The first thing I thought was it hit a bird. But it's a double for David Ross, a 4-run inning, and a 6-0 Braves lead.
Dave loved the double, but he was grabbing at his side and had to break it down a little bit right here. I don't know how much longer he can go today. Maybe the lead will get up to a point where he won't have to go.
I said last night, and I stand by it, he's given you everything he's got. With Ryan McCann, his sore shoulder. And Giannis swings and misses and is tagged out. That's the 74th pitch for Tyler Chatwood, and in all likelihood, his final pitch of the game. A weird third inning. The Braves are issued 3 walks, all of them scored, and then David Ross with a wicked hook doubles home 2 more. Academy Sports and Outdoors, by AT&T Ubers, and by Toyota. Joe and Chip back with you in Atlanta. 6-0 Braves have a lead heading to the 4th inning.
Our pal JD here at the ballpark today. Busman's holiday for him.
And the Braves, as you know, are in a hunt for a postseason trip this October. Postseason tickets go on sale Wednesday, September 12th. Make your plans now to get your tickets when they go on sale. Visit Braves.com/postseason today. The Eastern standings are on your left. Washington's playing the Cubs this afternoon. Atlanta leads the Cardinals for the first wild card, or for the second wild card spot, I guess. St. Louis occupies. They're 3 games behind Atlanta, a half game ahead of the Dodgers, a game and a half in front of the Pirates, and 6.5 in front of Arizona are the Cardinals.
That looks a little better after that win last night.
You bet. So Josh Rutledge leads off the 4th inning. Got to figure out a better way to put together those wild card standings. The Braves and Cardinals are the top 2 teams. You're 3 ahead of the Cardinals as Rutledge grounds to short. Medlin's scoreless streak continues. He has set down 9 in a row now. Tom, more on that?
Yeah, a lot of folks know what you're talking about, Chip, but Chipper Jones isn't one of them. One of the beat writers asked him that before the game yesterday. Said, are you confused by the wild card standings and how they're laid out? And he looked up at him, kind of crossed his, raised an eyebrow, and he said, I'm not. All I know is we're the first wild card.
Made it simple, didn't he?
Carlos Gonzalez looks outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
He had such a nice, easy swing on that home run ball last night. And talking to him before the ball game, he was talking about his strategy more than anything else about that at bat. And when he took that first cut and fouled the one off, made it 1-1 count, he said, I really knew then. I said to myself, I can't overswing. I can't swing too hard because he's already throwing mid-90s.
There's a laser off the bat of Gonzalez. And the Rockies have their 2nd hit of the ball game.
So he said, what I tried to do is just cut down. And he said, try to think about a line drive. And he said, but if he threw it down in the zone, which he did, he said, just drop the barrel on it.
The old saying, the power pitcher will provide the power.
Yeah.
That thing went 428 feet.
Well, I said that to him. I said, that should have been a real good example to some of the younger guys who think they've got to swing as hard as a guy is throwing. And he said, exactly, and you don't, and I didn't, and I just got the barrel out there in time.
Tim Hudson was all over Chipper. Their lockers are next to each other in the locker room last night. He said, this game's easy, isn't it? Just another amazing, dramatic moment for Chipper in his final Braves season. And you couldn't script the dramatics any better than this list of magical moments.
Well, that's what I told him today. I said, you know, when people look back on the end of your career, this is so cool the way you're going out and what they're going to remember. They're not going to go, you know, I remember a sacrifice fly one game that he won for the Braves, or, you know, stole a base or put down a bunt or beat out a play to avoid a double play and got a run in. They're all homers. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, you don't want your final baseball card to say his best moment was an intentional walk on May 14th. Foul ball by Rosario out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I think that's what mine said once. Simpson had 2 balls to the warning track on July 7th. Highlight of the year.
Lights are on at the ballpark. Cloudy day at Turner Field. Approaching the bottom of the 2 o'clock hour. Rosario bounces to third. Prado turns the double play. Chris Medlin working quickly, working efficiently, throwing a ton of strikes. And oh, by the way, he's got a 6-0 lead in the 4th inning. by the Home Depot and by AT&T. They're dancing in the aisles and on top of the dugout here at Turner Field with the Braves up 6-0.
That's Christy, and she won the dance contest today.
It would have been a unanimous vote had she done the shopping cart. But there's hope for tomorrow in Game 2 of the series. Trivia time. Our AT&T Universe trivia question. Who holds the Rockies single-season record for RBIs? This is a tough question because they've had some great hitters in their young franchise history.
That's a tough one. Big Cat comes to mind right away. Vinny Castilla,
Dante Bichette, Larry Walker, Todd Helton,
Matt Holliday,
Tulowitzki. Lots of choices.
I'm going Big Cat, and I'm staying with the Big Cat.
So if you know the answer, text us before the 6th inning. As Chris Medlin leads things off against Josh Renicky. And here's the other component of this buddy system pitching project that the Rockies are embarking on. Their starter can go no more than 75. The first man out of the bullpen goes no more than 50 pitches.
Well, I think so that it doesn't sound too much like Colt League baseball. They're calling it a hybrid. Instead of a buddy system. I kind of like buddy. Come to the ballpark and see your pitching partner and say, how you doing today?
Do they have to ride the cab together?
Probably.
Sit in the same row on the bus if they do that?
Mm-hmm.
But Renicky's done a good job. He's got a 2.73 ERA. He leads all major league relievers in innings pitched, not surprisingly. He's thrown 79 innings of relief.
And his uncle is the manager of the Milwaukee Brewers. The Braves will see on the next road trip.
We don't know if this pitching plan is going to work for Colorado. Frankly, they don't know. I don't think anybody does.
No.
But you have to respect what Jim Tracy and their front office are trying to do to see if it works. I know Freddie Gonzalez has said at times about the Braves offense, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And since June, when the Rockies made this organizational decision, they've been incrementally better as far as their pitching numbers are concerned. And their record reflects it. As we said, they're coming into town, a pretty hot club. They've won 14 of their last 20 games.
Yeah, and you got to give that man credit to Jim Tracy for his patience. Not just the patience it takes to be a manager at Coors Field 81 games a year, but with the pitching staff and the changes it's going through and still undergoing, and also their lack of defense. That would drive you crazy.
Michael Bourne toward Nelson at third. Well, Clint Hurdle, whom we'll see at the end of the season, is the former Rockies manager, and he was a man that had a saying for everything, and one of them was it takes courage to have patience. How much courage does it take for a manager like Jim Tracy, who doesn't have a lifetime contract with Colorado by any stretch, to do this and see this through? I mean, that's pretty remarkable.
Well, Jim knows the game, and he knows how to run a game, knows how to manage. It's just a different animal having to manage in Colorado. And you've got to be willing to win some 11 to 10 games like they did yesterday, and lose a few too.
There was an article in the Denver paper today that intimated that Jim Tracy has a handshake deal with Dan O'Dowd, the general manager, to manage the Rockies as long as Jim Tracy wants to. But we all know in this business that a handshake's not necessarily a binding situation. But Renicky's come on and has pitched a 1-2-3 fourth inning, and he did that with just 10 pitches. 6-0. Atlanta the lead as we head to the fifth. On 2 hits. Tyler Chatwood, the Rockies starter, walked 5 men. All of them have scored. And so far, Joe, that's been more than enough for Chris Medlin.
Yeah, he's got some breathing room, but he's moved his shutout string to 32 1/3 scoreless. Longest all-time streak in Atlanta since Greg Maddox's 39 1/3 back in 2000. And his ERA down to 0.59. But he also got bailed out in the first inning. How about this catch by Jason Hayward that saved an extra base hit off the bat of Willing Rosario that would have played it a run.
Tough sky for the outfielders now. Sunshine popping in and out of the gray clouds overhead. As Jordan Pacheco lines toward first. Freddie Freeman makes a beautiful play to his right. 1 out. That's the other part about how Chris Medlin works. The Braves defense behind him is always on its toes.
Everybody's always ready each and every pitch. Still no 2-ball count, right, Chan? Has not been to a 2-ball count today. Early outs, early action for the defense. 44 pitches, 9 balls.
He had 1 3-ball count in his last start in San Diego. And a first pitch pop up by Tyler Colvin. Foul ground. David Ross gives chase into the on-deck circle. Freeman is there, and what a catch! Right at the door by the photographer's well. He reached in and pulled it in for the second out.
Just in time, too. He got his glove there just in time. Called off David Ross at the last second as well. What a play. Outstanding. Close-up action.
And David Ross with a pat on the back. What a great play. 2 of them for Freeman here in the 5th inning. Now Chris Nelson. He struck out on 3 pitches in the Rockies' second. There's a gapper toward right center. And Bourne will have to chase that one all the way to the wall. So Chris Nelson on his way to second, stops there. And he celebrates his birthday with a 2-out double.
Birthday boy out of Redan High School and a former first-round pick by the Rockies. Comes home and hit a good pitch. Down and away and went with it.
Now DJ LeMahieu will bat. He bounced out to Juan Francisco.
As I've said about Chris before and to other people, that he's a guy, again, like Greg Maddox, who doesn't mind getting hit. He's not pitching to try to avoid contact. He wants you to put the ball in play.
Just like that. And a fly ball into shallow right keeps Medlin's scoreless string alive in the 5th inning. Freddie Freeman with some terrific defense helped the cause as well. Jason Hayward leads off the Atlanta 5th. 6-0. Braves in front of the Rockies. First to 4 against our friends from the National League West. And here's the rest of the set. Our Jamison in upcoming schedule.
Hanson, Minor, and Hudson for the Braves the next 3 days. And we're talking about Drew Pomerantz, who's having a tough time of it for the Rockies. He and Alex White the next 2 days came over from the Indians in the Ubaldo Jimenez trade, but both were considered top prospects at the time. And Julius Chacin, hard-throwing right-hander against Hudson to wrap it up. And check it out, 11:30 for Braves Live on Thursday. First pitch at 12:10 as the Braves will head out of town to New York after the game.
Well, the Braves have certainly punished Colorado starting pitchers this year. The 4 men that have started games against Atlanta: Chatwood, Moscasco, Moyer, and Nicasio, have pitched 17 innings and a third and have given up 28 runs.
Goodness.
Of course, 3 of those games were in Colorado, but 6 so far today by Tyler Chatwood. Jason Hayward, a foul ball as he faces Josh Renicky, who's on for his second inning of relief.
Renicky started in the Reds organization, got traded to Toronto in the deal for Scott Rowland, one of 4 players that went to Toronto. And then the Rockies got him on waivers from Toronto last year. Pitched in the big leagues and in AAA for Colorado. But I think he's found a spot in their bullpen. He's done good work for them. As Chip said, more innings pitched than anybody out of the pen in the National League.
And Joe, another guy that fits in that new Colorado philosophy, and that he can get the ball on the ground.
Yeah. Pitches to the bottom part of the strike zone, gets a lot of ground balls, a lot of double plays. And he's got a good arm like Chatwood. He throws hard, not as hard as Chatwood. He's in the 91 to 92 range, but a good hard slider.
Fly foul, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Don't know if there's a rule as to how thick you can let your grass grow on the infield, but if I were Colorado, I'd try to grow that stuff calf high. Try to reward the pitchers for getting ground balls in that place.
Yeah, you'd want it to make a sound as you walk through it.
Yes.
Yes.
But you know, line drives are going to fly out of there. Years ago, and I think I've told the story before, I finished up a series there when I was with the Cubs. On a final Sunday day just like today, they mowed and rolled the infield. It was like a parking lot. And consequently, the infielders had no chance on the balls that scooted through. As Hayward takes a called 3rd strike and wasn't sure about it, Renicky has his 2nd strikeout, and he set down 4 in a row.
I know this was a borderline pitch at best, but you know, Chris Conroy has been giving generous corners today to Chris Medlin too. And while that shows on Fox Tracks that it was just a little bit off the plate, I'll give Conroy the benefit of the doubt because he's been consistent in having a wide plate today.
1 away in the Braves' 5th. Here's Freeman. He's walked twice and scored twice. And good to see the Braves take advantage of opposing mistakes. 2 Rockies errors, 5 walks. All 5 of them have come home.
And that's another thing you can't do as a Rockies pitcher. You can't put guys on base, as we have seen today. The errors played a big part in the first inning, but at Coors Field especially, if you're walking guys, you're just asking for a big inning before somebody pops one out.
Freeman's down on strikes, and that's the 2nd out. Catch Chipper and the Braves here at Turner Field as they close out the regular season and look to secure a trip to the playoffs. Great seats are available as the Marlins come to town Tuesday, September 25th through the 27th. Visit Braves.com/tickets or call 800-745-3000. We'll finally get a chance to see Giancarlo Stanton. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing.
Yeah. It's a good thing for those people that had that sign they just put up. What a weekend for them. Alabama fans have to go to Dallas and watch the football game there and come here today.
That's a little low to Martin Prado. Little flare out second, and that's caught by DJ LeMahieu, and that retires the side in order in the Braves' fifth. The sixth inning, time for our Home Depot tools from the dugout. The Braves took advantage of every opportunity today, including this first run of the game that scored on a wild pitch. Michael Bourne comes across. And then a little defensive lapse here by the Rockies. Error. And on the same play, error. 2-run score on no hits. But there were also 2 errors. And then the Braves in the third inning. Look at this ball. They started out to right center, hooked over into left center. David Ross capped the scoring inning, 4-run third inning with a big double to center. 6-0 Atlanta. Always like the draw.
Yes. Oh boy. That was something else. I'm sure Dexter Fowler came back to the dugout trying to explain it too.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad route, Skip. It was a very oddly hit ball. Here's Charlie Blackmon. He'll pinch hit for Renicky.
I don't think Charlie's got any fond memories of Turner Field. It was here last year. He got hurt running the bases.
Yep, rounded second base on July 7th and fractured his right foot.
And he went to Georgia Tech, didn't he?
He did. Second round pick in 2008. Earned his business administration degree with a concentration in finance from Georgia Tech last fall. Rumor has it that, in the offseason, the Braves were supposedly talking to the Rockies about making a deal. think it was either Dexter Fowler or Charlie Blackmon, rumored to be coming the other way. And obviously didn't happen. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Braves have won 9 of the last 11 meetings between these two teams. The last time the Rockies won was April of 2010.
Finally, Medlin gets to his first 2-ball count, and it's to the leadoff man in the 6th inning.
Boy, a heavy-duty pitch count today for Chris.
At the knees, strike 3 call.
Well, as we've seen so many times before, when Chris gets to a 2-ball count, that just doesn't do anything but make him mad.
One 2-ball count today, 1 3-ball count in his last start against the Padres. In fact, Chris has had 1 man past first base in his last 2 starts. 8 shutout innings against San Diego, 5 1/3 shutout innings so far today.
I was talking about Dexter Fowler as he made an out his last time up. Didn't really get to finish, but here's a guy who wants to get better. People kept telling him you got to get a little stronger. He was so slightly built. Everybody knew he could run, but he got stronger in his workouts, dedicating himself in the offseason to workouts with Tulowitzki and Jason Giambi. Now, does he look like a guy who's put on too much weight? No. You don't have to look like Muscle Beach, but he's definitely stronger, and it has paid off for him this season. Sometimes, you know, it doesn't reflect in, let's say, home runs and more RBIs as much as you stay stronger through the course of the season, where you're able to produce all year long, and that's what he's done.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And do the Rockies want him trying to hit home runs? I guess is the question.
They don't need him to hit home runs. They've got some other guys to do that. He's going to hit some playing in Coors Field, 81 games, and he's hit 13 this year. And as he gets a little older, he's going to hit some more, I would guess.
His previous big league high, I recall, was 6. So he's doubled that this year. In part, what you're saying. Just bigger and stronger and around the league a few more times. Bright kid, great future, terrific baseball gifts. Medlin strikes him out looking. Fowler wasn't sure about that.
He was arguing, but he almost swung at this pitch. It was a changeup right at David Ross's target. Box track shows you it was a strike. And it's kind of hard to complain when you started to swing at it because you thought it was a strike.
Could he have been asking, was it on the swing or was it called?
Well, it could have. You're right. In his defense, he could have been asking that.
So here's Rutledge. Those folks you pointed out a moment ago making their way from Dallas have to be happy to see another Alabama kid who has one of the 3 Rockies hits. He's not going to displace Troy Tulowitzki, but as you said, they're going to find a place for this kid to play.
He was in Double-A. He made the jump from Double-A to the big leagues, and right before he got called up, they had him play second base for about 20 games. I promise you, he didn't see anything like this in Double-A, this kind of command.
Little roller. Medlin's got that. Another easy inning. Simply remarkable, folks. 67 pitches for Medlin through 6 innings with 6 strikeouts and a 6-0 lead.
Sixth inning, time for the Coors Light freeze can. And the cold train. Little action on a sacrifice fly, shallow fly to center. And Michael Bourne flashes across the plate with his left hand just ahead of the tag. Great camera action there. That was a Coors Light freeze can brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. As I said before, only Michael could have scored on that. Michael and Freddie Freeman, who told us he was fast earlier today.
And David Ross, who does have a stolen base standing up this year. Forget him. Here's a look at Edgmer Escalona. One of 10 Rockies pitchers in their bullpen. 10 of them.
He's off to a little bit of a slow start. Mid-90s fastball, though. Throws hard. And a mid-80s to upper 80s slider.
Another big guy, 6'4", 235 pounds, out of La Guaira, Venezuela.
Well, that's a pretty area.
Sharply hit by Francisco. And Mayhew makes the play. One man down. That's 8 straight retired by the Rockies relief corps. Learn how to make your home more energy efficient with Georgia Power's online energy checkup. It's free and takes less than 15 minutes to complete. Or in Chris Medlin terms, about 3 innings. Go to georgiapower.com for more information. Medlin's been great again, 67 pitches through 6 innings.
It's so hard in David's case to go up there and think, you know, I just probably ought to take a couple, not really swing in case I don't want to run the risk of really hurting myself. But you get in the box, something else takes over. You just can't do it.
I was going to say, are you of the mind that if you think, don't hurt myself, that's when you hurt yourself?
Many times that's the case. But when you get a chance to hit, you want to swing it. And he had a 2-run double his last time up.
And the Rockies are playing him to draw with a 1-2 count. Braves only have 2 hits, but they've scored 6 times.
Yeah, you might be asking yourself, well, why is David Ross still out there? They've got another catcher here in Boscan, and that's true, but at least for today, it's kind of like Freddie only has 2 catchers because, as he told you in that interview, Brian had a shot to the shoulder, a cortisone shot Saturday. They don't like you to play for 2 or 3 days after that. So they're trying to protect Brian. Which kind of takes him out of the mix.
Does the fact that Chris Medlin and David Ross are working so well with this shutout string and a 6-0 lead play into it at all?
Yeah, I guess, but I don't think you can let that affect how you try to protect your players. In this case, David, I would have to think that you got to take David's health into consideration with a 6-run lead. If it was 2-1 or 2-0, that'd be a little different. But I think going to the 7th for 3 more innings, that might be a consideration.
I was going to say, how much more lawyering will David Ross do to try to stay in this game? Because you know he wants to.
Yeah, and he does. We can see how it affects him swinging. What we don't know is how much is it affecting him to catch and throw. So if he can get through this at bat, catch a couple of more innings, he may not have another at bat, and you don't have to worry about it.
Popped up. Pacheco long run near the tarp. Takes a peek. Runs out of real estate.
Todd Helton, by the way, still on the disabled list for the Rockies. He had a surgical procedure on his hip.
Ball, 2 strikes. Todd Helton's a guy that I think many in baseball are guilty of overlooking when you think about the Derek Jeters of the world, the Chipper Jones of the world. Todd Helton's been a great player for a long time, his whole career with the Colorado Rockies. As Ross is down on strikes after a lengthy 6th inning battle, 2 outs. And I hope Todd Helton makes his way back for Colorado. Back to our trivia question. Lots of choices today.
Big Cat.
Wow, came right out without any hesitation. Who holds the Rockies' single season RBI record? You're saying
Andres Galarraga. Big Cat.
It's just it's too easy.
I'm overly confident.
I'm saying Larry Walker. Oh.
See. 150.
Giannis deep short. Rutledge jumps, throws, and what a play. Josh Rutledge, 1 for 3 at the plate. Took away a hit from Paul Giannis. And that ends the Atlanta 6th. 6-0 Braves in front. After 6 innings of play, Chris Medlin's streak continues. Lots of walks, lots of runs, and Colorado's porous defense continued in Game 1.
Chris Medlin, though, given those 2 runs in the first, 4 in the third, he is cruising, painting the outside corner, fielding his position. working in his breaking ball once in a while. Changeup has been outstanding today, and the defense up to the task as well. Great catch by Hayward in the first inning, saved a run, and then the double play there in the fourth.
Only one Rocky has reached second base in the ball game. Since joining the starting rotation, Chris Medlin has struck out 44 men, has walked 4. And goes through the heart of the Rockies order for the third time today. Gonzalez, Rosario, and Jordan Pacheco. Another solid year for Cargo, as they call him in Coors Field. 7th in the league in hitting, 21 homers. And he swings the first pitch, pops it to shallow left. Costanza broke back. Now closing speed, can't get there. So Gonzalez with a leadoff 7th inning hit. First leadoff man Colorado's put on today.
Anytime this guy takes a big swing, your first move, it's hard to fight not going back on the ball.
So here is Willen Rosario. He's the man robbed by Hayward in the first. He's also hit into a double play. Bryce Harper's gotten a lot of well-deserved publicity for Washington, but voters have got to take a long look at this guy for the Rookie of the Year.
Not enough publicity, as you said.
A couple of years ago, Rosario tore his ACL. He's come back from that. As Joe mentioned, he has more home runs. The Rockies have more home runs from their catching core than any other team in baseball. This kid's got 23 of them. He's hit 3 in the last 4 games.
Ball really jumps off his bat. Good changeup by Chris there to throw his timing off.
And then the breaking ball.
Arm action, the deception from his delivery. He never tips off anything that's coming. First 3-ball count of the day.
Swing and a miss. 7 strikeouts for Medlin.
Any pitch, any count, any situation, same result. Change up. And that was to the inner third of the plate.
That's got to be awfully frustrating as a hitter. You play the percentage game thinking, okay, 3-1 count, I'm going to get a fastball. You don't get it. Then it's 3-2. You still think fastball. You don't get it, and you're out.
And you're left wondering, what did I do wrong there? Chris said after that start in San Diego, one of the things he enjoys the most about pitching, and he loves the game, loves to play, but he really enjoys the cat and mouse, trying to outthink a hitter, trying to throw him what he least expects. And that was very Greg Maddux sounding, that mental aspect of it.
Quickly ahead of Pacheco, no balls, 2 strikes. The Braves really managed Medlin's workload in the first half of the season, believing that they would be playing very meaningful games in September. They wanted Medlin to be available to pitch. Well, he is pitching. Another pop up, another chance for Freeman near the rail. He won't get it. It's a bounce off the dugout foul. And what will be great fodder for debate for years to come, should the Braves catch and pass Washington, the way the Braves handled Chris Medlin's inning limit, the way that they've handled Steven Strasburg's innings limit with the Nationals. Strasburg has 2 more starts left. Medlin is going to be in rotation for the rest of this year, it would appear.
He better be. There'll be a mutiny down there. Since he's gone into the rotation, he's walked 5 guys. That's in 47 innings now. And no more than 2. Well, only 1 start did he walk as many as 2. That was against Houston. No other start has he walked more than 1. And again, he's doing it to a team today. And while some of these guys aren't household names yet, they are a hot-hitting bunch. Fowler, Gonzalez, Rosario, Pacheco, Colvin, all with hitting streaks working coming into the game.
Gonzalez has kept his alive. Everybody else that you mentioned has been shut down. And now an 0-2. Skipped up there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pacheco hit that ball before it hit him.
Yeah, that was. You better hit it first. That was riding in on him.
David Ross said something to him. Sharply hit. Giannis diving play. Fires wide at second. And that ball's down the right field line. Here comes Gonzalez around third. And he is going to score. That ends Medlin's scoreless streak. It's a 6-1 game.
The shame of this was that after the great play, it looked like Paul set himself just for a split second to make sure he made a good throw to second base, knowing right here. See, he kind of paused just briefly because they knew they weren't going to get a double play. And he still made a wide throw. What's that, his second error?
Yes.
Second error since he joined the ball club.
So Chris Medlin's scoreless streak comes to a close. 34 2/3, is that correct?
Albeit an unearned run. Let's watch the baseball in Paul's hand here. Does he lose the grip on it a little bit? Oh, yeah, it got loose. That's what caused the pause, going from glove to hand. So we didn't have the usual arm action on it. Kind of a short arm throw.
Tyler Colvin is down on strikes. That's 8 for Medlin. And great camera work by Steve Angel to show you the ball coming loose for Paul Janisch. That away, Steve. 2 outs in the 7th.
They gave Pacheco a hit on that?
They did. Which extends his hitting streak to 12 games.
You can't assume a double play, but you can certainly see that it was going to be an out.
One strike to Chris Nelson. He's 1 for 2. Nelson was the 9th overall pick in the first round back in 2004. Louisville Sluggers High School Player of the Year for Georgia in 2004. Baseball America said he was the 2nd best position player in the draft that year.
Yeah, I remember reading a lot about him. What a good all-around player he was.
Lifetime .281 hitter in the minor leagues. Hit .250 last year for the Rockies and 180 at bats. Hitting .275 this year. And he's called out looking. Medlin another 3 strikeout inning. He's got 9 strikeouts in the game. He's winning 6-1. His long scoreless streak comes to a close in the top of this 7th inning. So in special recognition of the military, USAA now presents the singing of God Bless America. A Turner Field tradition continues as Timothy Miller will perform the duties here in Game 1 of our Braves Rockies series.
While the storm clouds gather far across the sea,
let us swear allegiance
to a land that's free.
let us all be grateful
For a land so fair.
As we raise our voices in a solemn prayer.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God
Academy Sports and Outdoors. By Georgia Power. By Ram Trucks. And by Blimpie. Well, Joe, the Braves are doing to the Rockies what they do better than any other major league team, and that is beat them. And that's the subject of our Academy Sports and Outdoor leaderboard.
Best record all time against the Rockies at 101 and 59. Phillies and Dodgers second and third respectively. And as I said, the Rockies haven't beaten the Braves since April of 2010.
New pitcher on the hill for them. Guillermo Moscoso is the man that started against the Braves in Colorado on May 4th. And he'll face Chris Medlin in the Braves' 7th. Ten straight Atlanta hitters have been set down by the Rockies pitching staff. Chatwood, Renicky, Escalona, now Moscoso.
Escalona did a good job after struggling in his first several outings, 1-2-3 inning. And like him, Moscoso throws hard, low 90s, good slider. Nice play. We're in the Georgia Tech colors.
Fan from the flats made that catch.
Chris go around. Yeah, he did. And that's out number one. Get the third limited edition Chipper Jones commemorative print presented by SunTrust, highlighting Chipper's 2008 batting title. Gauge tickets for Friday, September 14th as the Braves play the Nationals. Braves.com/tickets, the place to go. That Georgia Tech fan wearing his colors to the ball game today. They play Virginia Tech tonight, their first football game.
Tough start to your season right there for both sides.
I promise you Tech will win.
Thank you, old sage of the college football sector.
Two balls and a strike. Had good crowds for the weekend. As the Phillies were in town. Had 36,000 here last night. Good gathering here on Monday. Hope you'll make your plans to join us for game 2 here tomorrow night. Tommy Hanson and Drew Pomeranz will duel. Need Tommy to bounce back and pitch a good ball game. Pomeranz, a lefty. That's our Chevron starting pitching matchup for game 2 of the series.
And Tommy Hanson looking to bounce back after a couple of rough outings. Needs to get back on track tomorrow. For Pomeranz, who's scuffling, he really needs a good outing.
In the air to center. And Fowler plays it well. 2 outs. Michael's 0 for 2, but has scored 2 runs, giving him 88 runs scored so far this year. Here's Costanza. Jose has sacrificed. He's walked and scored, and he's flied out. Well, we have a moment. Want to wish a happy birthday to Brandon Beachy. He's 26 years young today. Andrelton Simmons turns 24 tomorrow. Freddie Freeman turns 24 on September 12th. Line drive left for Costanzo.
He's had a good day. Put out a good sacrifice bunt in the first, walked and scored in the third inning, and now a base hit here in the seventh. He had hit in 22 of his last 23 games at Gwinnett and was leading the International League in hitting.
Jason 0 for 3. Lost in all those offensive heroics for the Braves last night was the fact that Jason, batting against Cole Hamels, had a couple of doubles and a couple of runs scored. It's real encouraging to see him hit a tough lefty like Hamels as well as he did. Jason will be back in there tomorrow against Pomeranz. Let's hope that work continues.
Well, I make a note in my scorebook every day about what a guy has done, particularly in the last series, like against the Phillies. And Bourne 3 for 8, Hayward 3 for 13, Freddie 5 for 9, Prado 4 for 13. And while
Costanza's running, Rosario drops the ball. Third steal for Costanza.
While those are all pretty good, they're even better when you think about the three guys they had to face in that Philly series. So they did more than just hold their own. And a great rally last night made everybody feel a little better about the weekend.
Two balls, no strikes. I wonder, I'd love to get your thoughts on this. We talk so much when a team loses an excruciating game like the Phillies lost last night. We always say the next day, well, you got to turn the page and move on. Today's a new day. Is it harder to do that when you're the team on the winning side of that equation?
No, I don't think so. When you're winning, nothing's as difficult as when you're losing.
My point, though, is that you do have to forget, in a way, what took place last night because today's a new day.
Well, yeah. From
that standpoint is tougher.
From that standpoint, yes, but ride it as long as you can. The momentum and the excitement of last night, and I think the team felt that today on the short turnaround. Came out with a lot of energy early.
And Hayward bounces one towards second, and a nice play at short by Rutledge, who makes the play on the first base side of second base, and that retires the side. On we go to the 8th. Atlanta with a big lead. 1 coming up for Colorado. Chris Medlin back out there for the Braves. Chris's long scoreless streak came to an end, but he is winning yet again in rotation for Atlanta today.
Time for our Coors Light Cold Hard Fact, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. And the fact that the Colorado Rockies home runs from the 7th inning on. Brewers 55, Reds 52, Rockies 3rd on that list, the Braves 5th, with some late inning heroics, including chippers last night.
DJ LeMahieu leads things off for Colorado. He is 0 for 2. 9 strikeouts from Medlin today.
Ties his career high again, doesn't it?
He had 9 last time out against San Diego. And that is his career high. Bouncing ball. Francisco gives ground. Long throw. And got his man. Here's the irony for Medlin. His 3 9-strikeout games have all come against National League Western teams. Arizona, San Diego, and now Colorado. And the Rockies will go to the bench and get Moscoso out of the ball game. Andrew Brown will pinch hit.
.49 at bats, hitting .265 with a couple of homers.
Rounds out of Carrollton, Texas. Colorado got him on a waiver claim from the Cardinals. He's out of Newman Smith High School and played his college ball at Nebraska. Chris Medlin has a new career high. That's his 10th.
We were talking about Galarraga in the trivia question having 150 RBIs. Well, in that season, 1996, the Rockies tied a record for National Leaguers with most players having driven in at least 100 runs. There's 8 different National League teams that have done it. But check out these numbers from the Blake Street Bombers. 150, 141, 128, and 113 from those 4 players on one team. The Braves also had a team with 4 players with 100 in 2003. Sheffield 132, Andrew Jones 116, Javi Lopez 109, Chipper 106.
Dexter Fowler into shallow right center. Jason Hayward's got that, and that retires the side. Medlin is amazing. He is indeed the silencer. 10 strikeouts and a 6-1 lead. reminder for you that all season long, Braves baseball on Sports South is being presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day.
What a day for Chris Medlin again. Career high 10 strikeouts. You're going to see a few of them right here. Location, location, location. He's had hitters questioning calls all day, swinging at bad pitches, but around the plate all day long. No walks, 10 strikeouts. He's only thrown 22 balls today out of 98 pitches. 1 3-ball count that I remember.
So the pride of LSU, Will Harris, takes over in the 8th inning for the Rockies. And Freddie Freeman pops the first pitch into shallow right. And Tyler Colvin is there and has it for the first out. Harris, a 9th round pick back in 2006. He did not pitch in the 2010 season due to injury. In fact, pitched in only 1 game in 2009.
90 to 93 on his fastball. That sounds like a broken record. It is. Fastball, curveball.
Foul. And quickly 0-2. Harris made his big league debut on August 13th against Milwaukee. 44 appearances between AA Tulsa and AAA Colorado Springs. Pitched a scoreless inning last time out August 31st against San Diego. Winning handily today. Washington also beating the Cubs and Jeff Samardzija. That's 2-0 Washington as they go to the 9th inning at Nationals Park.
Cardinals shutting out the Mets too halfway in. 5-0.
Braves do get a break of sorts when we play the Mets. Won't have to tangle with R.A. Dickey. He's not listed as one of the 3 starters for our series at Citi Field. There's a line drive off the bat of Prado. Gonzalez will play it on a couple of hops. Big turn Martin. He's going for 2. The throw off target. And it's a hustle double for Prado. Lovin.
Right out of the batter's box. Doubles like this don't happen after you round first. They happen right here.
Up 6-1. Your starter cruising along. I'm sure there are some who would have been content with a single there, but he plays with the foot and the accelerator on the floorboards all the time. And Prado doubles with 1 out in front of Francisco. Juan has a hit, a run, and an RBI today. Francisco couldn't check his swing, and that's An 0-2 count. Rosario injured on that play.
I don't know where it got him. Good play to keep from getting by him. Got him on the hand, looked like. Picked it up with the glove. Well, you have to be impressed with catchers when they put up good numbers like Rosario this year or Brian McCann for the last half dozen years, is because of all the dings they take during the season that may not look like a lot, but that ball in the dirt hit him in the hand, and you don't know how that might affect him with his swing, not only the rest of today, but the rest of this series or this week.
Good pitch up and under the hands. And Juana's down on strikes, 2 outs. SEC Gridiron Live is back, and Tim Couch is holding it down with a new cast, including Desmond Purnell, James Bates, and Elizabeth Moreau. Get to know the new crew as they bring you the best of the SEC's opening week and a look ahead to week 2 of this SEC Gridiron Live, Wednesday at 10 on Fox Sports South. Upstairs, 1 ball, no strikes.
There's that one more at bat for David Ross that we kind of hoping didn't come around, but here it is. And because the inning has taken a few extra pitches, thanks to the double by Martin Prado, Eric O'Flaherty, who was warming up last inning, warms up again, depending on the length of this inning and how long Medlin has to sit.
Really hear Harris grunting as he releases the baseball. 3 balls, no strikes, though.
As long as he doesn't go Sharapova, it's okay.
Count.
David's side problems. As far as this guy's throwing, Paul Janisch got to be heads up over there for a late swing and a foul tip.
And that will retire the side. Oh, David Ross snaps the bat over a knee in frustration. Harris strikes out a couple of Braves in the last of the 8th inning, and we head to the 9th. Will Medlin finish it off, or will we head to the pen? Find out after this. On by Jamison in, by the Georgia Lottery, and by McDonald's. Chris Medlin, why not? Going out for the ninth inning, up 6-1. Yes, his scoreless streak came to a close, but 98 pitches, a career high 10 strikeouts.
Braves had 4 complete games this year, all from different pitchers, including Chris 2 starts ago against the Padres, and could have finished up in San Diego after going 8 innings, but the Braves had a close lead and needed to add on some runs and take a chance on adding on some runs, and Freddie Gonzalez chose to pinch hit for him, which I thought was the right move at the time. But just 1 inning away from perhaps 3 straight complete games the way he's working today. Hudson, Mahalan, Medlin, and Brandon Beachy.
That's right.
With the complete games.
Birthday boy, Brandon Beachy. But amazingly for Chris, this is his 7th start. If he finishes this one off, he'll be the team leader in complete games. And his efficiency, well, obviously a big reason why. Faces Josh Rutledge, the number 2 hitter for Colorado, who's 1 for 3 in the game. Ball too low.
Career high in pitches, 105. Set 2 years ago.
And he's probably 3-0. In the air to center. Mike DeBourne's got it. 1 out. I know Greg Maddux talked about it a lot. We seem to talk about Greg Maddux a lot when Chris Medlin pitches. Pitch counts are one thing. The stress of the pitches and the pitch count entirely different.
That's a good point. It's a good point. The run that scored was unearned. That was the first and only time anybody got to third base today, and that was in the 7th inning. They did have a runner in scoring position in the 5th. But what's the most pitches he threw in any one inning today? 15 maybe?
He had 11 in each of the first 3 today.
24 in the 7th inning.
And that's the inning they scored. So not a lot of high stress pitches. Part of that too, the Braves gave him 6 runs with which to play in the first 3 innings today.
Yeah, but look at the rest of that. That is a strike throwing machine. Not just balls in play today, 10 strikeouts.
Now 41 pitches in 2 innings of the 106 now that he's thrown, and he's in the 9th with 1 out. And he strikes out Gonzalez. That's 11. Ball's on a string for Chris Medlin.
Must be fun knowing that every pitch you make with that kind of conviction is going where you want it to go, and this crowd on its feet for him.
Willen Rosario, the final Rockies hope. Crowd on its feet. 24,848 here today. And now Chris 1 strike away from a complete game.
One of the other things that Chris Medlin does to hitters because of his ability to throw strikes is it makes them come to the plate aggressive and swing the bat. They know he's going to be around the plate, and they can't just stand there and wait for walks and wait for good counts. So they come up swinging.
It's a dirty dozen. 12 strikeouts and a complete game for Medlin. Wow. Chris Medlin now 7-1, 7-0 since joining the Braves starting rotation. And the Braves knock off the Rockies in game 1 of our 4-game series.
And Rosario knew it as soon as that pitch crossed the plate.
Great way to start the week. 6-1, the Atlanta final. Back with more from Turner Field.